Welcome to Storytime at the Rubus, a weekly podcast about music festivals. This week in particular, we are hyping up our personal favorite music festival, Bonnaroo. I am casually taking over the intro this week. I'm Chloe. I am joined by a bevy of beautiful faces this week, the lovely Skyler.
Hello.
The eternally handsome Evan.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Perfect sweet angel baby Dan, who you know.
I love how Evan is always like, good evening, like he's some like count from the 1800s or something.
He's
Got
secretly
big
wearing
Vincent
a
Price
tux.
energy.
Yeah.
Big Vincent Price energy. And everyone's favorite Viking, Pondo.
They said this was witness protection. I don't know what happened. How do I know these people? Hello, everybody.
Well,
Well, I am thrilled to have everybody on. We usually make this a tradition every year to have like a little bit of a panel to do a deep dive on the lineup. And I feel like there is a lot to talk through on this one. We were doing this a couple of days after the fact. Usually we do the little panel on the lineup episode, but after I saw the lineup, I realized we kind of needed a couple of days to let this one really settle in. And I'm sure many of us, if not all, have been on the Reddits and the Discords, maybe even the InfoRoos, to collect everyone's opinion and kind of get a feel for what the community is thinking about this lineup. There's a lot to go through. I gave everybody a little homework. I wanted to hear like some of their top picks on each day and a couple of like undercards that maybe people are overlooking. We got a month longer to look through this lineup this year. So this is probably the first of many times that we're going to be talking about this and recommending new finds that each of us have. But I want to do this first of all. I want to get like a general opinion from everybody on like your overall thoughts of the state of Bonnaroo. Not necessarily the lineup, but where we are now. Like, as you all know, we have been through it the past couple of years. 2 years because of various plagues. And now last year, another one. I think we're due for rivers of blood at this point. But because of this, like, you know, things being up and down, I kind of feel like we need to get like a feeling from everybody about like where we are right now. I'm going to start with Skyler because I still have her nickname up on Riverside. It says Liz Lemon. I just caught my eye for a second there. But Skyler, how are you feeling about the state of Bonnaroo? If we were having a
Good
state
God, Lemon. I am... God, I hate to say this because I feel like I'm stealing from the What podcast, but I'm never not excited about Bonnaroo. Like it's always going to be something that I look forward to because it's where I get to see my homies every year. And like logistically, yes, there are going to be changes, but I feel like every time these changes are made, they're made from a place of wanting to make things better for the attendees. You know, nothing is ever done maliciously. Like nobody is ever making decisions just to like, you know, screw people over. It's always done for a reason and in the best way that it can possibly be done. You know what I mean? So like, I think the move of that tent comes to mind. I think a lot of people are a little up in arms about that, but I see where they're coming from. You know, it's going to thin out the late night crowd. It's going to offer some different perspective in the what field. It's going to be really interesting. And like Bonnaroo is ever changing. It's something that is, you know, it's a Boolean everywhere it is. And it's always exciting to go to. So I think that things like this keep things fresh. You know, there's always something unexpected for me, which is nice after going for 13 normal years and 15 Evan years. And I'm always excited to be there. So I'm interested to see what the changes look like. I'm excited about like the campground programming. I'm excited about the changes that have been made in Bonnaroo. I think Thursday is going to frickin' slap. Like if you can only book 4 artists for Thursday, what a lineup of 4 artists. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm never in a place where I am upset about something. You know what I mean? Like maybe it's inconvenient or maybe it's like a curious decision, but I always think that it's coming from somewhere, you know, it's never arbitrary. So
That's a very Pawpaw Josh attitude. Never not happy.
yeah. Pawpaw Josh is my life coach. So that makes a lot of sense.
He's all of our coach at this point. Chloe, how are you feeling? Like if we had the president, maybe not this one, but another president giving the State of the Union about Bonnaroo, like what would you say about the state?
Well, I would be Skyler's VP because I co-sign everything that she says. Because I totally agree. Any changes they make come from, one, a place of positivity. Like, I think they come from a place of care, but they also come from a place of knowledge. Like, I personally am just coming from an attendee. Like, I have no idea truly what it means to like run a festival or put something together. And if, a change is made that is, like Skyler said, curious, I'm sure it's just me coming as an attendee and like not understanding. There may be like truly like a better logistical answer for it. So I just like to leave some space for wonder, that I'm just like, oh, maybe that is a better idea. And I have no idea. But I am, feeling pretty positive about it all. I feel like the changes they are making are interesting and exciting. I'm really encouraged by, as always, their transparency. I think they're really great about doing that. They make themselves very available to answer questions, and not just like when they talk to you guys or the What podcast, but like Corey is very active in Discord, and he's funny, but he also gives really great answers. I think he like really walks that line of not being dismissive, but also he's kind of funny and he just gives really great answers. And I think that's really encouraging. I don't know how often you get that kind of like access to your festival organizers. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, you never would see that from Coachella, for example.
Yeah. Like it's really encouraging. And the updates they're making on the farm and how honest they're being about that. Like the closest access I have to like working on like land management like that is Animal Crossing. So like they're telling me about that and I'm like, that sounds right to me. Like, cool. I trust you. And like the guy they have talking in those videos, I'm like, yeah, I absolutely trust you to plant the right kind of grass. Like that sounds good to me. But I just appreciate them sharing it at all. Like as they're going, they're explaining why it works. So I'm excited. I feel good about it. And I'm just ready to get back on the farm. Cause like Skyler said, it's where I see my homies.
I love
First
the
of
Dan
all,
Green shout out so much.
We got to promise that Dale is going to come to the Monkey Bar on the last episode. I don't know if you caught that. I'm going to hold him to that.
That's right.
He's
Dale
the
Green
biggest
forever.
celebrity at Bonnaroo now. Yeah. 2 points, Chloe. First of all, that one guy, the raccoon on Animal Crossing, is totally a slumlord.
100%.
Yeah.
You don't need any more bells, bud. What, are you going to buy another yacht? Leave me alone.
But also, bless Corey's whoop dad soul for having the patience and the care that he has. I'm biased because he's turned into a family friend these days, but like he does a fantastic job being personable, transparent, and being totally authentic. And I feel like that helps his day job as the brand ambassador at this point, and I think everybody has come to love and trust him for that. The other day he came in and said like, oh, hey guys, I goofed. I said the wrong thing about like prices staying the same or not staying the same for VIP. And we're like, okay, you know what? He owned up to it. That's great. You love seeing that kind of thing from people.
We're a formidable group of people to contend with. Like we care so much about our silly little festival and we have so much to say about it. We have so many thoughts. And the fact that he is willing and able to deal with us in such a large capacity is just stunning to me. Like, yeah, incredible. If I would, I'm not going to take my hat off again because my hair looks terrible, but hats off to Corey.
Here, I've got a number of hats to take off. Oh, wait, what? Me and Claudia was just talking about this earlier. That one in particular. Trash Pandas. Yeah.
Trash Pandas.
All right, Evan, you're up, sir. What is the state of Bonnaroo? I feel like you may have opinions on this one.
Going off of one thing Chloe said, I meant to do this in the past couple weeks / months. I meant to go get my civil engineering degree from my parents' house and hang it up.
I mean, you have, just because you don't have it doesn't mean that you don't.
I know, I just want to offer premium credibility about talking about grading and drainage and all that stuff. So that's something I still have to do.
But wait, let's give you the cred you deserve for this. This is the kind of thing you do at the day job, right?
He's so legit.
In part, yes. So I do engineering for transportation and DOT related stuff. So I'm also allowed to have opinions on traffic flow and
I want to remind people we're not just a bunch of wolves. Like, we're a bunch of smart wolves. We have a lot of people that have pretty cool professional gigs. You included, Evan. So yeah, let's hear it. What do you got in mind?
I just wanted to say that I don't actually have an opinion. It seems so coming out of the 2025 situation.
His opinion is I'm an engineer.
I think they handled it really as best as possible. They came out with their ears open. They're an open-minded, and I think they're listening as much as possible, taking Corey has said at every possible point that they read every single comment. Bless their hearts for doing that, because that's must be a nightmare. So that's really incredible. I think they're working with a relatively limited budget this year, and I also suspect that Live Nation is kind of shifting Bonnaroo in their portfolio to like, all right, you weirdos can just like do this over there, like. Like, we'll just let you do that, and like, you have a good thing going, we'll let you do it. Just keep doing it. And I don't think they're going to be like, Bonnaroo is going to be as like featured and promoted in the greater like marketing strategy of Live Nation and C3. But like, since it has such a year over year dedicated audience, that they're just going to let it happen and just let it keep going. And I think they just might be putting it in a different place in their portfolio, and it might just shift that way. The fact that they're reinvesting in the farm, I think, is heartening to all of us, because I think there was at some points writing on the wall that they might have just, laid down the cards. That's not the phrase I was looking for, but so I think the reinvestment is heartening, and I think the state of Bonnaroo is strong and positive and looking towards the future. I do think a lot of pressure is resting on this year, so they really have to nail it this year and get 4 or 5 days. And I think they're doing their best as possible to do so. And I think it's quite obvious of the efforts that they're putting in.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think we're going to come around to that before we dive into the lineup here in just a bit. Let's talk about some of those changes and how we feel about it. But before we get to all that, we got one more person, last but not least. Pondo,
Hey!
you have a very, very valuable opinion on this, because as I mentioned the other day, you're one of the people that I would describe as having the soul of Bonnaroo. I want to hear what your opinion say to things.
Well, okay, I guess I am the one person who looks at it perhaps a little bit different. A lot of people say I look at everything a little bit different. I think of this as a transition year. I'm going to do a good sports analogy. To me, we are rebuilding, but we are also competing. I think that right now, something that Evan kind of touched on a little bit, I think that this is the year that we reach out and they make improvements. The lineup may not be as strong as it has been in years past, but they have done all these things to strengthen everything. If you believe in football at all, I know Chloe's a Vikings fan like I am. If you understand that there are certain things you have to do, you have to have a good offensive line and a good defensive line. That's not necessarily sexy. The quarterback, wide receiver is sexy. What they are doing right now is by doing the foundation of Bonnaroo, they are in the process of doing things that will give us another 5, 10, 15, 20 years of pretty much worry-free Bonnaroo. I'm not saying that we're not going to have hiccups and stuff come up, but they are really investing in that. As far as the transition part, to me, this year is the year that, in my opinion, it's make or break. I can't see Live Nation continuously pumping money into it if it doesn't do well. So I do expect it to do well. It's going to have a little bit less capacity. I'm excited about the lineup. I'm cautiously optimistic that others will be once they get into it. And once they hear everybody up here's fabulous picks and bands to look out for, trust me, these guys are going to give you bands that whenever you listen to them, they're going to be your new favorite band. And you can thank Daniel, Chloe, Skyler, Evan. If you want to thank me, that's fine, but that's just extra.
Thank you, Pondo. You're so good at this. I need to have you on more often. As for what I think, you guys have pretty much stole my thunder on a lot of things I was going to say. Like, it's tough to critique Bonnaroo because, like, a lot of the things that have held it back are out of their control. In fact, pretty much everything was, because we had, 2 weather cancellations and 1 because of COVID. So it's hard to fault them that they have been metaphorically spinning their tires in the sand a little bit, because they have been fighting, natural disasters, basically. I think we were close to getting back to where we should have been in the past 2 years. We really would have been this past year. It isn't, something that I don't think anybody can be mad at, that they're working with what clearly is a smaller budget for a lot of things, lineup, grounds, whatever. I think they're spending a lot of money on the grounds, obviously, as we have all seen through the videos. And from Dale, I can't wait to meet that guy.
Dale Green.
Yeah. Hey, he's supposed to go to the monkey bar. I'm going to hang out with that guy.
Dale Green.
But, like, I think they're doing the best with what they have. Me and Evan were kind of talking about this a couple of days ago, that, like, even if they were to have had a smaller talent budget, they did pretty darn good budgeting what they did have. Like, I don't think anybody's going to come out and say this is the best lineup ever, but if they really had, a lighter wallet to work with, they still got a pretty darn good Bonnaroo lineup. We'll talk about how we feel about it in comparison.
It would be hard to tell the difference, like, year over year, with depending on availability of stuff, of whether, like, of dozens of percentage of points of budget differences. So I think they did a really good job with this lineup, and it's not that obvious that they had a more limited budget. Is kind of the credit I'm trying to give them.
Yeah. And I will say too, like, Pondo, you had a great metaphor for it being like a rebuilding year if it was a ball team. I think that's a perfect way of describing it. I hope that they don't internally look at this year as absolutely make or break, because I think this has to be a year over year thing. I don't think this lineup is going to, well, I don't think it would have sold out like a full capacity year. I think it might get within spitting distance this year with the limited capacity, but I think they have to look at it in terms of like, okay, we got knocked down again. We got to get back up again. They did it once. It took from, 22, 23, 24, 25, but they did it before. They could do it again. We all know that they can. So I hope they don't look at, any attendance figures as some sort of potentially doomsday scenario this year. I think you have to give it some breathing room over another year or two before you have to reassess. And then putting this much work into the grounds kind of signals to me that hopefully they are doing that. I don't think they would have done that if it was just like, hey, this might potentially be the last one if it doesn't hit these numbers like way up here.
Right. That
So
was a very good point, man. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Bonnaroo also has the advantage of being like one of the big 3 festivals in the U.S. Like, it's Coachella, Lollapalooza, and Bonnaroo. It's the biggest camping festival in the country. Like, it's got so much brand recognition. It's got so many really loyal fans. I don't think there's going to be a fall off at all, but I do think it's going to be pretty telling about what the future looks like for what this year's, attendance numbers look like.
Yeah. And Skyler, you mentioned something there that I kind of wanted to dive into at some point. We might as well now. Like, where do we feel that Bonnaroo sits in kind of like the tiering of like camping festivals? I don't think you can look at it in the same way as like Austin City Limits or Lollapalooza, because like their budget is very different. They don't have to worry about building a miniature city for like almost a week. Like, are we still competing with Coachella? Are we one of the top 2 in the country, or is Bonnaroo more in line with like Electric Forest or Okeechobee now? Like, what do you guys think?
I mean, it's not an independent festival per se, like your Hula's Ween and your Electric's Forest. I like to pluralize things like attorneys general as much as I can, but it's definitely at the top tier of that. Like, it set the tone. It's the blueprint for a camping festival in the U.S. Like, it's gone through so many evolutions. It's got so much of a loyal fan base, and the other ones are relatively new still in comparison. Like, Electric Forest is still very new. Okie is still very new. Halloween is maybe its biggest competition, but it's such a different part of the year that and such a different kind of. I wouldn't say it's a different sensibility, but the way that the festival festival is booked is very specific in comparison to Bonnaroo. But I think it's got that like kind of pioneer sensibility about it.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at the thing.
Yeah, I don't think there's. I think it's hard to argue that it's not at the top. There's not. Coachella technically has camping, but 5 to 10% of the people are camping there. There's no other festival in the country that has 80,000 people plus on-site camping for, at some years, over 6 days. So, Halloween has 25, 30K. Electric Forest is probably 35, 40. We're double that in population alone. So I think it's hard to argue that that Bonnaroo is not the premier camping festival in America.
Yeah, you guys are making good points here.
Yeah.
Chloe and Pondo, how do you feel about it?
To me, unfortunately, and I hate saying this, Coachella is the number one music festival in the United States. We are somewhere below that, and it really depends on who you ask. Like, we're obviously going to think Bonnaroo's number one, but Coachella has the advantage of being in a place where there's everything to do.
It's true.
Bonnaroo is in Manchester, Tennessee. It is in Coffee County, Tennessee. Nobody in this probably, nobody would go just to voluntarily go to Coffee County or Manchester, nothing against Manchester, for something to do. So you're going there for that.
I don't know, man. Have you been to Common John's?
That Waffle House is really
Waffle House is
superlative.
pretty good. Hey, man, and that Walmart, good Lord. But also the other thing is, for Coffee County, we provide so much money for them. Like, I've talked to the people at Walmart a couple of times. This is their Black Friday. They make more money off of Bonnaroo than they do off of Black Friday at Walmart. Think about that for a minute. That is, the shopping, as far as Walmart goes, that's their number one day of the year, unless you're there, because the number one or number time of the year is right before Bonnaroo, because everybody goes to the Walmart, everybody hangs out a little bit and buys something and gets stuff. So that shows you how important it is there. But as far as like overall, I would say Bonnaroo is like number 2 or number 3. For me, it's number 1. But I also think that you guys have touched on it really, really well. We are campers. A lot of people would tell you after midnight is whenever Bonnaroo really starts. And there are festivals that say, hey, guess what, guys? It's midnight. You got to go home.
Yeah. Because Coachella still has, a lights out time, right?
Yes.
I want to say.
And also, Pondo, as I would probably agree with you on the Coachella point, but as camping festivals go, I think the question.
I agree with you. You were right. There's people that camp there. But what I've always said is this: when the Coachella, people go to be seen at Coachella. They could care less who the hell's playing. I mean, honestly. And look at how many bands go to Bonnaroo and treat it like an event, like something amazing. Like, they'll keep coming back to Bonnaroo. Like, one of our headliners this year, The Strokes, have played Bonnaroo before. And I bet you they are super stoked to come back and grace the farm again and get new people to follow them and new people to go, wow, man, I did not realize they were this dang good.
Me and Skyler will have many opinions on that.
Pondo, I've been saying for years that people go to Coachella to be seen and people go to Bonnaroo to be.
Yes.
And I think that's the biggest difference between the two. Like, having never been to Coachella, this is purely an outsider's point of view. I'm sure it's different when you're actually there and experiencing it. And there's, it's not all influencers, obviously. Like, a lot of the Festifers folks that I know that go to Coachella are very much there for the music. Like, there are people that go both weekends because they have so many bands that they want to see that they can't see them all in one weekend. And I love that. I think that's spectacular. And Coachella has such gigantic visibility that a lot of bands that are from outside the country, that's the only festival they'll book in the US, just because it's so big, it's so close to LA and Palm Springs, like, it's easy to be there. Damon Albarn is my favorite example. Like, he played Bonnaroo in 2014, and he said that Bonnaroo is the closest festival he's ever seen to Glastonbury in the United States, and he was super complimentary.
A few years ago.
He had an incredible time, and now since then, the Gorillaz have only played Coachella, and I have a bone to pick. Damon Albarn, if you are listening, Why are you avoiding me? Come to Bonnaroo. You're going to love it.
Come back to Bonnaroo or else. That is a threat.
Chloe, we haven't heard from you. How are you feeling about as far as where we are, like in the tier of things?
I have not much else to add. Agree with everyone. I think we're still in the top 3, but I feel like it's gotten so disparate between Coachella, Lollapalooza, and Bonnaroo, because I feel like Lollapalooza and Coachella have chased virality. There are these and this is no shade at all, because like obviously they're making money, they're booking these huge acts, but their headliners are always like who's hot at the moment, which is great. Like, and that's totally fine. They get people there, people have a great time, and that's awesome. I don't think Bonnaroo chases that same kind of sensibility, which sets them apart, and I think gets them a more consistently wider range of attendees. I don't think you're going to see, like when I look at a crowd at Bonnaroo, I see tons of ages. I see lots of different people. And when I'm looking at crowds at Lollapalooza, and again, I haven't been to Lolla, I haven't been to Coachella, but when I'm looking at crowds, I'm not seeing that kind of diversity. So I wonder if that helps us, if that sets Bonnaroo apart. I think about that a lot.
That's a very good point. I hadn't really considered. You do see a lot of diversity. I think there is a misconception that like Bonnaroo is catering specifically to like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, or whatever. But like we all know from being in the trenches, like out in GA for so many years, that like it's a little bit of everybody, you know. And I don't know if you necessarily would see that at like something like a Coachella, maybe not Lollapalooza either. So very good point. All right, we have gone on, about this kind of thing for a while now. I want to take a very quick moment to look at what we are going to have in Centeroo this year as far as the changes go. I'm going to do a quick share thing here. I can do this with our new tools these days. So here is a look at a map that was kind of announced, but not really. It was kind of buried inside of premium option, but people found it pretty quickly, and then the owl tweeted it out. As you can see, that tent has moved over to the other side of the what stage. So super quickly, because I'm going to dive into the lineup itself here in a moment. How are we feeling on that? I feel like opinions are very mixed from what I have been seeing online.
So wildly positive, I can't tell you. I hated that tent. I hated it so bad. I hated it so much.
Chloe doesn't hate anything.
I know. Oh my God. I felt so strongly about this.
Except Ronald Reagan.
Fuck Ronald Reagan. Don't start with me.
But wait, give us the why.
Why I hated Ronald Reagan or that tent? No, I'm just kidding. How long do you have? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Okay, so anytime. So that tent, if there were more than like 7 people there, it felt so crowded, especially when they moved the VIP lounge. But even before that, with that like access road going through, which is so utilized, it's a great road for them to put like poop trucks or like the trash trucks going through. But that road was so heavily utilized, and then with the merch stand being right there and those getting that line kind of getting crazy, it just felt really congested there, and I felt like I was just like never in a good spot to see a show, and I just had a really hard time with it, and I hated it, and it made me really upset.
Or he must have read your mind, because that's pretty much the same point he brought up when we talked with him and Tuba the other day.
I will miss the mist tent at the back of the what stage field, but for this added joy, I will take it. I don't even care. I'm so excited.
Okay.
I feel really strongly about this. I'm so glad you asked.
I can tell. I'm glad you're here. How's everybody?
Happy to help.
I like it. However, they say that they're going to alternate between playing. Is there going to be any kind of bleed is what I'm wondering. Like if something happens and somebody goes over or times get messed up a little bit, I'm wondering about that. My biggest question is, are they going to bring the Who stage back to Centeroo? I would love that to happen, because they have it in the middle of nowhere. And everybody told me, with the exception of one person, got a shout out to my DJ, hey Eric, that they hated the fact that they had to go all the way out there to the plaza to see a show on the Who stage and then come all the way back to Centeroo to pick up where they left off.
Well, I'm going to be the second guy that tells you that I kind of liked it. I do agree with your notion that it is a long way for some people to walk. For us over in group, yeah, we were a little spoiled. It's not that far. I went over there to go see the Crumb Snatchers this past year, and I thought the setup was pretty good. Sound was good. There was space for everybody. I thought it was nice that there was an option for, what should be a Centeroo stage out in Outeroo. I didn't think it was the worst idea, but you have very valid points. And now that tent isn't going to be where it was, the Who stage could theoretically go there. When we talked with them yesterday, they didn't really know what they were going to do with that space.
I'm hoping for that, but we'll see.
Yeah. Evan, Scott, how are you guys feeling about it?
Sky, you go first.
I mean, I like it. I it reminds me of when the Roots did the Roots picnic in New York City. They did it in Bryant Park, and they had a stage at either end of the park, and they just alternated the programming. And I thought, like Pondo, like you said, there would be like, people would go over and there would be sound bleed, but there was sound bleed from that tent before. Like it was so close to Witch that anytime anything was going on both of the stages, like it was just impossible if you were anywhere outside of the tent or anywhere like back past the trees to hear anything. But having it be in the Whatfield, it feels like it's going to be a lot more particular in terms of start and end times, just so because the sound bleed would be impossible to contend with there. Like there's nowhere to hide from it. So I think it's going to be really interesting over there. And I also like that it's going to kind of break up the flow of traffic late night, because everywhere outside of the Whatfield got so like just absolutely packed in after sundown every night. This will kind of spread that out a little bit. And I like that. I like that, notion of being not shoulder to shoulder with people as I try to walk to the bathroom or whatever.
Nuts to butts.
Exactly. And to be.
I'll go ahead. I'm struggling to see a downside with it. It clears out traffic wise. First of all, we have to make a couple of assumptions that it will be open late night. Its existence doesn't really, we don't know that the missing tents are going away. It spreads out that whole right side of the map as we're looking at it. Another thing is it provides bands a lot of captive audience. In between sets, in between Watch Stage sets that didn't exist before. So how many times have you been at What Stage and nobody moves after a set, and now all of a sudden you have another hour of, you just turn 180 degrees and you have another free set that you weren't normally going to be able to see, and that band, whoever's playing, has a gigantic captive audience that they necessarily weren't going to have before. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I don't think it's costing us really anything. It spreads everything out across a lot of the busy times. So I know a lot of people are disappointed and change is hard, but I haven't really seen a big downside in it yet.
You're muted, Dan. But can I ask, where do we think they're going to put the Infinity Stage this year?
In the garbage.
In the abyss.
But yeah, I was muted. Thank you for catching that, Skyler. I'm not even going to edit that. So I wanted to pull up the actual Google map of where this is going to be, so we can get like a better idea of where it might go, as opposed to that cartoony map that we usually are looking at. So for those of you that are watching, I apologize.
The fountain
for anybody
is temporarily closed?
I suppose so. But for the Scholar, for those that are watching, you can kind of see like there's a bit of a changeover in the color of the grass. I think the tent would be like way back there to the back, so there's going to be plenty of room. I'm not too worried about that aspect of it.
I'm not worried about space either, because think about those missing tents. There's like, at some years there was like 2 or 3 of those, and there's not even a noticeable amount of space.
Yeah.
So even if
they can also expand and contract Centeroo as they please. Yeah. So like they may just like extend the walls outside of the field and make it a little bit bigger.
Yeah. But what about the mound, guys? What if they have to move it?
They move it every year. How would that be different?
I'm really worried.
Somebody check Brad Steiner's heart rate.
One last thing before we move the lineup. Pondo, you had a good point about like potential sound bleed. I will say I have seen a couple of different festival situations at other events where they have alternative stage, and I love that. They had that at Halloween when I was down there a month or so ago, and it would always immediately go from one show to the next. They're very good about that. I trust that Rue will be as well. I don't think there's that much to worry about. If somebody does go over, they're probably gonna get a chewing out.
Probably,
I don't think
probably.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll just cut the sound system.
Oh, so back in the day at the old Hangout Festival at the beach in Gulf Shores, they had alternating stages, and they finally had to cut the sound on Lenny Kravitz because he refused to go off. It was amazing, actually. His band was jamming, and he went down in the crowd, individually going to people to shake their hand. Thank you for coming. I love you. Thank you for coming. I love you. And then they finally had to cut him because somebody else was on the other side. It was amazing. I love him.
They have at Merle Fest, they have the main stage, and then right next to it, they have like literally a little cabin, and it's called the cabin stage, and folks will play on the front porch while they're resetting the main stage. It's like a lovely little, it's like hold music almost, but like really incredible, the best hold music you've ever heard in your life. Because it's like I saw Lily Mae Reish play there before Tanya Tucker a couple of years ago. Wow. Like it's perfect. It's a good thing to have in between sets of the main stage.
At Bonnaroo years ago, at the back of the Whatfield, we used to have something called Cafe Ware. And me and one of my best friends used to go, and you could sit back at the back of the Whatfield. You would watch the What stage. As soon as the What stage got done, Cafe Ware would start. So all you did was, they've already had something like this before. It's just going to be on a bigger scale. So it'll work as long as they keep to the time schedules. There won't be any issues with it.
Yeah.
So because we're all positive on this change, can anyone point any significant downsides on this besides change itself?
It's just in a different place, and I don't like that.
That's qualifying after what I just said.
So I was thinking about this today, actually, and I will venture an opinion here. I think sometimes Bonnaroo is not the best about making changes or additions. I think they don't have that great of a batting average, as evidenced by a certain circular stage last year, for example. I think sometimes it takes a year or two for something to work out. The other stage is a big hit now, but in the first year, programming was a little weird, and I don't think they quite had everything figured out. Those super cool pillars that they have in the middle of the field, that didn't come till later on. The other was
You're totally right.
a bit of a shaky thing for the first year or two. I don't know if everybody remembers that. So I am very, very slightly concerned that a change this fairly big could come with a couple of unforeseen headaches. There was a lot that was unforeseen with the Infinity stage last year, and I know this is a smaller deal. It's like that Patrick meme. They're going to take it from over here and put it over there instead. That's how we speak in memes, by the way. I do think it could potentially run into some issues the first day. Maybe a band runs over like Pondo was concerned about. It's not impossible. So I think we may have to give it a day or two once we're there to really pass judgment on it. But that's
no
not
punk bands on that stage. Those are the ones that always run over. No punk bands. Just very rule-abiding indie bands.
Do we really think the directors of Bonnaroo are going to be able to let two bands play at the same time facing each other for more than a minute or two?
That's a hell of a B2B, though.
It's going to be like a Pilgrim scene. Yes.
These guys are professionals. They know what they're doing, and they are constantly communicating with each other. There's at Bourbon and Beyond, there's a stage, basically two What stages right next to each other facing each other. And they flip-flop the entire day. So this is not something that's never been done before. It's not crazy. They're professionals. They do it all year round. I think they can handle it.
Yeah, very true, Evan. All right. Smoke him if you got him. Any last opinions on any grounds changes before we dive into the lineup?
Oh, was I not supposed to smoke something?
Skyler had something. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I think it is time. We have to leave the point.
Skyler.
Yeah. All right, guys, we have belabored the point. I think it is time to jump into this thing. So there is a lot to jump into here, and we are running a little long. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is this is going to be a bit of a YouTube exclusive. We'll put some of it on audio, but it's going to be mainly video, so we can take our time with this. All right. So we're going to go ladies first on this one. I want to hear what your first impressions were. We heard a bit from Chloe the other day. And I also want to hear like how your opinion has changed over the past couple of days now that you have had some time to let it sink in. Skyler, since you're on the top on the little video thing I'm looking at, let's go with you first. Like, how are you feeling?
Fucking stoked as hell. I
Don't sugarcoat
was bleep me. The Strokes, you guys, the Strokes. I am an indie sleaze queen. I moved to New York City in 2008. I started high school in 2002. I am only 25 years old. You don't know how that works. That's just how numbers work. I'm so excited about the Strokes, you guys. I saw so much sleaze on here. I saw immediately like Blood Orange and Passion Pit. Like it's very much a lineup catering to me specifically and the elder millennial sleaze queens in my life. Like shout out to my dear friend and wonderful human being Michael Roberts, who I'm so excited to see back on the farm this year. You better freaking be there. His Instagram is Talk Room Much. You probably know him. But we are going to be on the rail at the Strokes, screaming our tits off, and we're going to have so much fun. No, I'm super excited about it from top to bottom. I honestly think this is a better lineup for me personally than the last couple of years. It's so rock and roll focused. It's so guitar focused. It's so like there's not as many women and non-men and non-binary people as I would like. However, it is, we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. The headliners are mostly notwithstanding, but the undercard is just sensationally stacked. And I think it's still really diverse between rock music, electronic music. The hip hop this year is wonderful. There's so much to be excited about here. And I think if you look at it just kind of top down, it's a little bit like ho hum. But if you really dig in and you look at the tiny font and you look at the Super Jam and you look at my man, the Vicar of Yanks, Mr. Weird Al Yankovic up there in the top right corner. Like there's so much to be excited about on this lineup. I am going to have such an issue with conflicts this year. Oh, it's going to be incredible. But I think there's going to be some really incredible things happening on the farm.
Yes, ma'am. I knew you would be excited. I hadn't heard your full thoughts like this. I fully 100% support this. All right, Chloe, we heard from you the other day when you were, wait, by the way, I want to talk about this for just a quick moment. I was going through like Riverside, getting like everything for the little clip that I edited in, and I usually search by the transcript so I know what I can get. And all I saw was like, it was like, Chloe, oh my God, holy shit, oh my God. That's all it said.
It was an accurate representation.
But tell us how you feel now that you've had a couple of days on it.
I was just like blinded by my excitement seeing Kesha, because that really just like took up the entirety of my brain. And then just kind of like dug in a little bit more. I totally agree with Skyler. The way you phrased it with like, if you just look top down, it is kind of ho hum. That was like the perfect description, because the top line outside of Kesha, that's totally fine. But like digging through it is really compelling. And Dan, you saying it just needs to like settle and grow on you. Totally agreed. I've been able to dig through, and I'm already finding stuff I'm really excited about. And like even that time I spent talking to Cam on Tuesday was really exciting. He has such a different taste than I do, and he shared some stuff he was excited about. And I'm like, okay, I am now also very excited about those things. So that was really cool. But again, just totally blinded by my excitement for Kesha. There's like several pop girlies on here that I'm really excited about seeing. And to Skylar's point again, there's some like really great like rock and roll on here that I'm stoked about. And I'm still not over Blues Traveler. I missed that like the first few times I like looked at the lineup, and then Charla mentioned it and I was like, oh my God, Blues Traveler. And that's just like a wild dream. So
I am
That's gonna be
ordering
cool.
harmonicas in bulk. We are going off.
We're going crazy. I'm saying harmonica bandoliers. We're doing it.
He passes them out like candy at a show. He's played the farm before.
Are you
He'll
serious?
pass them out. I think that one year, I think he said he passed out like between 40 and 50. He'll pass them out during the set. He'll just say, "Here, take one." So yeah.
The game
That is
goes
the
to
most
Blues
exciting
Traveler,
thing I've
apparently.
ever heard.
We're gonna work on a group costume. Everyone, think on it. We'll workshop
We're
it.
gonna open up this pit for runaround. I swear. Yeah. All right, Evan, how you feeling? How were you feeling the other day? How do you feel now that it has sunk in for a couple of days?
I think my initial reaction and my today's reaction is relatively the same, since I haven't really been able to dig into anything I haven't heard of before. I'll be honest, none of my favorite bands are on this lineup. However, after going to Bonnaroo, I can't even count how many years, over 12 years. You have the wisdom of being like, hey, I just need 4 or 5 really dope shows to go to every day. And how many people go to like 5 or 6 awesome concerts for 5 or 6 days in a week? So like I'm not super passionate about anything on this lineup. However, I think it's a really good lineup. I think they did really well with, I think, the budget that they had. Probably, I think Mount Joy is one of my standouts. I saw them a couple months ago. I was highly recommended to see them, and they've like kind of morphed from like a stomp clap hay band to like a jam band. And they put on a really, really awesome show, and they're like super appreciative. So they might be my number one on this. But I'm really excited for the potential of the Thursday opening ceremony thing. I think Bonnaroo has a lot of ability and potential to kind of like make the beginning and end of the show like really powerful. And I think that they've had this is their first opportunity to really do that. Because there's been past years, I've said this before, like, but on like Sunday night where like the headliner just kind of ends and you're like, all right, well, is it over? Or what's happening? So
Evan, one of my favorite examples is like Bob Weir just being like, vote them all out. And then that was it.
So I think if they can find a good way to like present and like bookend this festival with like really good presentation, or maybe take that as a note as something they can do going forward. Slight side story here. I went to this festival in Vegas, Rise Festival. And they did a really good job of this presentation thing I'm talking about, where they said, hey, welcome to this, like they would, like the lights would go dark, the house lights would go dark and say, welcome to the stage, Goose. And then they would do like a presentation. And then after the headliner on Sunday night, they were like, okay, the headliner's over. Then they did this like closing, I don't want to call it a closing ceremony, but they did like it was like, okay, the headliner's over. And then they did like a big fireworks show with like a lot of graphics and stuff. I think if Rue could take like a note out of that book and like kind of make Rue more of an experience and like featuring people rather than just being like, all right, here's the stage. It's more of like a presentation of the band. Hopefully that makes some sense.
Yeah.
But overall, I think the lineup is awesome. And there's definitely every single day 6 or 7 things I want to see. So that's enough for me.
Yeah. Pondo, we're going to go to you second, but I want to bring up something that you said there, Evan, about like kind of like the showmanship. I don't know if you can call it showmanship when it's a festival doing all those like bells and trinkets and everything. But I have seen things similar to what you are talking about at other festivals. I brought up Hangout earlier, and far be it for me to bring up Hangout twice in an episode. But like they did something similar the one year that I
We all know
went.
you're just the biggest hangout guy, Dan.
Huh?
Never mind.
Whatever. Anyways, like, okay, it was a little cheesy, but it worked. At the end, after the last headliner, fireworks are going off and they play Sweet Home Alabama. It's Alabama's biggest festival. I mean, most of the time, I wouldn't be a big proponent of that song. It's a little too much. I hear it all the damn time. But in that case, it made sense. It was kind of like this triumphant thing at the very end. And like, I have always thought that Rue could use a little bit more of that kind of touch. Like, it's so anticlimactic when the headliner is over. It's like, oh, well, okay, let's go back to camp and see what we can get into, you know? And they did do something one year, way back in 2014. There was a little bit of a hype and countdown video for Mumford & Sons, and I've never seen it since. I wish they would take a little bit more care into like the presentation like you're talking about. I think that's a very good point. But all right, last but not least, let's go to you.
Okay. Time for me to get hype. All right. How many of you have been to Golden Corral? I'm sure all of you have been to Golden Corral before. You do not go to Golden Corral for the steaks. Nobody goes to Golden Corral for the steaks. You go for the buffet. And that's what this is. This is the Golden Corral buffet. Because you're going to get up there and you're going to think, yeah, they're not going to have anything that. Wait a minute. They got Grizz. They got Turnstile. They got Teddy Swims. Oh my gosh, they have Trixie Mattel DJing? Wait a minute. They have that? And all of a sudden, the next thing you know, your plate is full, and you go back up there and you get another plate full, and by the end of the dinner, you've got 2 or 3 plates, counting dessert, and it's been fan-fucking-tastic. And the steak's not what you went for. You went for the buffet, and that's what this is. There's so many different things for you to choose from here. So many different styles. I do wish they had some older acts. I feel like that Bonnaroo is really dropping the ball on that. Get some stuff from the 90s or 80s up here. Just a couple of bands would make me happy. But overall, I feel like that this is the kind of lineup where there's enough stuff where if you dig in, your plate will be full and you'll go home happy. Just like Golden Corral.
Yet again, Pondo coming in swinging with the great metaphors.
That is an incredible analogy.
That's kind of what I was trying to say, but he fucking really brought it.
Oh, thank you guys. I do take MasterCard Visa also, but it's okay.
What's your Venmo? What's your Venmo?
No. I'm joking.
So, like, for me, I will fully admit there was about a 12-hour period where I was like, I don't know about this. It was kind of feeling very 2017 or 2018 to me. Like, there was a good number of things I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely going to that. I love that. But then other than that, it like, at the time, it kind of fell off for me a little bit. But then I came back around to it because, like, I looked at it in terms of like, okay, how many of these bands am I going to see on a particular day? And we'll come back around to that in a little bit because I asked everybody to give us their picks per day. And I realized Friday and Saturday are going to be like absolutely packed for me. Sunday, not so much, but that's usually the case on Sundays anyways. I realized if I want to see everything that I want to see on those 2 days, I'm not going to be doing much of anything else. And that is exactly the kind of buffet that Pondo, I assume you're talking about, where you're just like, okay, this thing's done. I'm going over here now. Those are some of the best years for me when I'm just like, not able to miss any show because there's so many things I want to go see, and I'm running from a tent to a stage and back and forth again, and I never get tired because I'm so hyped up. I feel that way about Friday and Saturday. Thursday I'm excited about. I know we're getting, less bang for our buck, but the Skrillex thing is going to be fun, and that opener stuff is going to get everybody hyped up. I want to give a shout out to Mike on the Ruham podcast because he had a very good point. I listened to them while I was running today. He was like, this could actually be dangerous because people are going to be like pre-partying like crazy, and by the time they come in for like Skrillex, it might be a madhouse. But you guys, I live for this kind of chaos. I want that to be that chaotic. I think that would be a ton of fun. Now, I will say though, I think if I had a couple of things that I wanted to point out, I think the sub headliners aren't to the level that a lot of us were kind of being hinted around that they would be at. Nothing against Teddy Swims whatsoever, but is he a 2 at any other festival? If you look at the 2s that we have had at Bonnaroo in the past 10 years, again, nothing against Teddy. He's got good music. This is nothing against him. But I feel like the level of 2s that we had before now, and Teddy being a 2 now, I'm like, ooh, who did we not book? Who did we not pay enough for? Who dropped off at the last minute? It feels hard to not feel like something happened when it comes to like, Teddy or the neighborhood. If you go back in those polls, I want to see the stats of how many people asked for those 2 acts specifically. I would bet it wasn't that much. I think there's a lot of questions there that we may not ever get the answers to. But I do think, and I agree with a number of people that have said this online in the past week, if the number 2 and number 3 on a couple of these days were good names, I think you wouldn't see anywhere near the mixed opinions that we have been seeing in all the different corners of the Rue internet this past week. I think people would be way bigger on it. Also, I have one other thing, because before we go to the next thing, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Whoever does Rue's graphic design, you know, I always like my baseball metaphors. They got a really good batting average, but this was a swing and a miss, putting Weird Al way up here in a corner where it's so easy to miss.
Yeah.
I talked to two people here in Huntsville this week. Huntsville is a pretty nerdy town, as many of you know, who were interested in going to Bonnaroo because they saw that Weird Al posted on his social media that he's going to be at Bonnaroo. They both asked me, where is he on the lineup? They didn't see him in this little candy thing that was up here. But all that is preamble to say, I am going to be on the rail with Skyler to see Weird Al. I am so pumped about that. And I did some asking around. Rue isn't sure if he's going to be doing something special. So if they're not sure, that tells me there's a possibility that Al may be doing something special. I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. So I will let you know when I find out. I kind of hope it is a little something. Al has gone on record a couple of times when he's done interviews saying that Bonnaroo is probably the best show that he has ever played when he was there in 2013. He said that was the most fun he's ever had. So I want to use whatever platform I have here to tell everybody, please, 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 let's top last time and show Al a good time and make him feel like he is really welcome. And I want to open up this freaking pit for pretty much every song that he's going to play. I want to make sure that he has just as much fun as we do, because he is a damn national treasure and he deserves it.
I agree. His set in 2013 was not different than a set that he did because of the videos. And I think we may have a situation again with that, but I think he feeds off that crowd so much because so many people know the songs, and his backup band, he's had them for years.
Unbelievable.
And they are outstandingly wonderful and
Unreal.
great. I agree with you, man. You nailed it. Do not sleep on Weird Al Yankovic. Everyone thinks, he's a parody performer. Joe Bermuda Shorts has been with him on drums since, I was a wee lad, and we're not going to talk about how old I am. But so, it's definitely something I would definitely say that is one of the shows that I would tell everybody do not miss.
Yeah.
How many people do you know that can name Weird Al's drummer?
Me.
There's two on this podcast right now.
There you go.
Crazy stats.
And that's the kind of premium opinions you get here on the Rubus podcast.
Absolutely.
I'm also 30 cents away from a quarter, so you really can't count me at this point in time.
All right, guys. We're going to get to some of our individual picks here in just a moment. We're going to take a real quick break. First of all, I want to give Evan the mic because you guys have something coming up in Jersey City next week, I believe, right?
Yes,
Next
we sure do.
Wednesday.
So on Wednesday, December 10th, we are the beneficiary of a traditional monthly trivia night at Ed and Mary's, which I think for my vote might be the best bar, at least in New Jersey, and perhaps
Potentially
beyond.
the world. Yeah. Potentially the best bar in the world.
I actually just spent the last 5 hours there, so that's why I couldn't come up with phrases. They
It
are
was for research, though. 5 hours for research, right?
yes, of course.
It was all R&D. Very business-like.
Yeah, business.
Their staff.
He's
is
writing those high lifes off on his taxes.
So in my time today there, I was actually informed that one of the staff there, Mel, she somehow pulled the strings to get a mezcal sponsor for the trivia night on Wednesday. So we're gonna have like free drinks, free shots, swag to give out.
God.
That's just kind of bonus information that we just got. The details, December 10th, Jersey City. The bar is called Ed and Mary's. All of the coolest people and all of the friendliest friends will be there. This bar has treated us extremely well. And like we are like friends with the owners, friends with all of the staff. So it kind of was like a match made in heaven that we like put together a couple, like as a, like an idea a couple months ago. We put it out into the Festiverse. We got Festiverse people coming. My personal family and friends are going to be there. 7 to 10, December 10th, and all suggested donation is $50 per person or per team for four people. The trivia is just like generic bar trivia. It's not festival or music related. We are not running the trivia itself. And then every dollar that is donated by the participants of the trivia is going to be doubled by the bar itself. So we're looking at a pretty good number there for to go to Totem directly.
This place has such a Bonnaroo spirit to it, truly. Like, it's a pillar of the community. It is a place of gathering. I have had the longest week on earth. I am exhausted and burnt out, and my brain is made of jello. And Evan was there after work today, and I met him over there and was immediately met with a hot toddy and a smile and friends. And it is just, it's one of the most wonderful places I know, and one of the reasons I am so glad to live in Jersey City. And I think this is such a perfect, like Evan said, it's a match made in heaven. Like, it's a really wonderful marriage of spirits. And I'm super excited to go drink some spirits while we do some trivia and raise some money for a wonderful cause.
We've also been told that the last trivia of the year is the biggest one. So it's going to be a blowout.
I love how Skyler was describing this place. Like, this place has everything. But yeah, again, next week, next Wednesday, December 10th, 7 to 10, Jersey City. We know we got a lot of people in the Jersey and NYC area. Y'all go see Evan and Skyler and the crew. I think it's going to be a good time. And hey, tequila, that always gets people in the door too.
The fact that Evan and Skyler are going to be there alone, that's worth the price of admission. You get to see Evan and Skyler at the same time. There are some people who spend 99 cents a minute for that. Come on, guys. Come on.
Also, real quick, want to give a shout out to the Huntsville event that we're going to be running before too long. We'll talk more about this on another episode, but just want to give it a quick plug. It is the Saturday after Christmas, December 27th, over at the Speakeasy at Straight to L. I think it's going to be a suggested $20 donations direct to Totem at the door. We're going to have a couple of local Huntsville DJs. I think they're going to have some drink specials. Brooklyn is not going to be working. She requested that day off so she could be there and not have to be serving drinks. Everybody come out for that. There's going to be a costume contest. We decided we want to do something a little special because we didn't have the Halloween party at mine and Charlotte's house this year that we usually have because we were at Halloween. So come dressed as your favorite musician or a musical pun. I have heard that somebody is coming dressed as Come On Eileen, and I'm not going to go into details. But anyway, Saturday, December 7th, if you're in the Huntsville area, save the date. And also, want to give a shout out to Totem. We won't do the Patreon thing for this bonus episode, but you guys know who you are. We appreciate you so much. You can find the Patreon at patreon.com/Rubus and learn more about Totem at totemfnd.org. And we have more things coming to Nashville and Atlanta in January. We'll talk more about that as we get closer. Now, here in a moment, we're going to talk about some of our individual picks to finish off the episode. But I didn't tell you guys about this. I'm going to edit this in. I've got a little something I wanted to put in. So this time of the year, when the lineup is out, we always have like the most viewers, listeners, whatever. And I like to use my platform to plug Huntsville music. You guys all know we have the Orion in town. But we also have a lot of great local bands. Many of you have seen Wanda, who you know and we all love. Okay. She has come to Rue. You all know her now. I wanted to plug another Huntsville band that me and Charlotte and Brooklyn have known for a long time. They're called Them Damn Dogs. They're kind of a surf rock band here from Huntsville. And I talked to their frontman, Jerome, and we're going to have a song, if you're listening, and the whole music video, if you're watching. We just wanted to plug them. We love them to death. Check them out. We're trying to do more to kind of highlight our town and the music around town because we are in Huntsville. Huntsville is home to Totem, but also is NYC. So maybe we should find a couple of local Jersey City and New York bands that we should highlight eventually as well. But we're going to toss it to Them Damn Dogs, and we'll be right back with our picks on this lineup just after that. right, big thanks to Them Damn Dogs for sending us a song. I'm glad we could kind of show that on the podcast and highlight some Huntsville music. Here's Richard. Here's a sausage. All right, this is the fun things we get to do when we're like YouTube exclusive. All right, thank you, Ricky.
Actually, this is Nikolai. He's named after the bass player from the Strokes.
Is he really?
I never knew that.
He sure is.
The more you know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Is he doing well?
He's thriving. He's wearing his pajamas.
Ricky's a little ticked that I brought him in here for this. He's owed some treats now.
Here's
All right, guys.
the
All right,
whole
we'll
length
take
of the
just a
dog.
few moments. I wanted to go through some individual picks. So I texted everybody today. I was like, hey, give me a couple of your must-sees for each day. You know, aside from Thursday. Obviously, we're all going to the same thing on Thursday. But for each day, give me like 2 or 3 picks that are like absolute must-sees. I'm not missing this. And then after that, give us like, 2 or 3 bands that you think are flying under the radar that people should check out. Pondo stepped away, so we're going to start with, there he is. But Evan, let's start with you.
Sorry.
Dan, you said start with me?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, sure. I don't think I have a lot of revolutionary stuff to say yet because I haven't had time to dive into. Usually I like to listen to a song or two of every single artist on the lineup. So what I've come up with is not revolutionary, but my picks for Friday are going to be Blues Traveler, Bring Your Harmonica, and I'm really excited to see Wolfmother on the lineup. I don't think this is the first time I've seen Wolfmother on a lineup of a festival that I can remember. So that's going to be pretty cool, I think. Big rock band fan. So if you're a Guitar Hero rock band guy.
Yeah, the Rehab guys were talking about that. Yeah.
For Saturday, I'm going to go with Tash Sultana and Passion Pit. Tash Sultana put on an incredible show. They do like the looping thing where they like create their songs live constantly. So if you don't know them, I don't know how, but absolutely check them out. They have probably 2 or 3 gigantic songs from the beginning of their career. They started as a busker in, I want to say Melbourne, Australia, one of my favorite cities in the world. And they somehow worked their way up all the way to kind of headlining smaller festivals. So pretty incredible. Passion Pit, if you're younger, gigantic band in the early 2010s and super catchy music. You got to know them. And then Sunday, cannot miss Tedeschi Trucks Band.
I never say it right either.
I'm kind of excited to see what Derek Trucks can do rogue on the farm if they have a little time before and after, because definitely could see him and Susan showing up in various places all throughout Super Jams and that kind of stuff. And then
Can you imagine what Derek Trucks is going to do at the Kesha Super Jam?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
we can only imagine.
It's going to be sensational.
And then
He is a pop alchemist.
Derek Trucks worldwide pop alchemist. And then Trombone Shorty is going to be my other Sunday pick. That could easily be accompanied by a parade through the campgrounds / Tenaroo. Trombone Shorty always has like super cool guests because he's friends with everyone because he lives in New Orleans. So I think that's going to be something super awesome to keep your eye on and probably going to be a pretty major party. I said this a little before, but someone that I've come up on later, even though they're the second line of the lineup, Mount Joy. Their new album, this is going to be my overall pick, technically. I was super impressed when I saw them live a couple months ago. And they really they're definitely a super Bonnaroo friendly band. They're jammy, and I think all of their songs are very narrative towards like camping and music and that kind of stuff. So that's going to be my overall pick. Nothing super mind blowing, and you probably heard of all of those bands. So give me a couple months and I'll get back to you with some better picks.
Good picks, Evan. You're giving me some homework. All right, Pondo, let's go with you next.
Okay. I'm actually going to start with Thursday, believe it or not. Spiritual Cramp. That is a band that I think of the bands that are listed, that's the one that's not getting any love. I think that's going to be the wildest performance on the farm on Thursday. I'm not saying the best. I'm saying the wildest. So yeah, definitely keep it eye out for that. Okay, let's go with Friday. Got to give a shout out to Youngblood. My girl Sweetness loves Youngblood. I like him too. We'll probably be there for sure. And as far as the other one goes, okay, have to go to Lil Jon. Let's face it, that is going to be a late night party where if you are sober, it's by accident. That is going to be one of those shows that, like 10 years from now, you could be in the worst mood ever, and somebody says, hey, man, you remember when we saw Lil Jon on the farm? Your eyes will light up, and you'll go, yeah, I remember
You'll
that.
be like, what?
What? Okay. Yeah. There's no doubt. Saturday, by the way, I'm with Daniel on this one. To me, Friday and Saturday are my busiest days, and Sunday is kind of my day to hopefully meet all of y'all if you're still around and everything else. Saturday, we're going to go with one that not very many people have said anything about. We're going to go with Congress the Band. I've been checking out for them. They got a unique little sound. I do like what I hear from them. They're kind of like an indie pop band. I haven't heard a ton from them, but everything I've heard so far has sound like pretty well set on. And my other one is one we've already talked about, but I'm going to go ahead and hype it up again. The best backing band in the business is with a guy named Weird Al Yankovic. That guy puts on a show that is absolutely phenomenal. You'll laugh. You'll cry. It's better than Cats. You'll see it again. Wait a minute. That's a different ad. Anyways, Weird Al Yankovic for sure. Now, as far as Sunday goes, somebody took one of mine, and that's Trombone Shorty. Trombone Shorty played against Sheryl Crow a couple years ago, and everybody went to go see Sheryl Crow. And you missed Trombone Shorty, you missed the best performance of the weekend, in my opinion. He goes out there and slays. It's fun. He'll play different songs. You'll know stuff. He'll bring stuff up on stage with you. It's absolutely amazing. And for my last one, I'm going to go with Modest Mouse. I've never seen him live. I know their stuff.
Oof,
I expect them to
you're
be
going to
pretty
love
good.
this.
I'm expecting that to be, and my number one overall, the one that I want to see more than anybody else, is Daniel, Chloe, Skyler, Evan, and all of you. That's who I want to see. My headliner, if you are listening to this, is you. You are the reason why I'm going. And this year, if you've ever wanted to meet me, let's make it happen. You are more important than any song playing on that farm this year. I swear from the bottom of my heart, I will go out of my way this year to meet you if you want to meet me. And usually that has a restraining order involved and stuff like that, but it's all good. We will get together on the farm. We'll have a fantastic time. This lineup may not be what you think it is, but it's Golden Corral. The food's good. I promise you. And you can have dessert. Ask Chloe. She knows all about festive food. Okay, I'm good.
Pondo is literally like the lineup is the friends we made along the way.
Truly.
He's not wrong.
I gotta find my Pondo Army card. I thought I had it around here. I have it within 100 feet of me right now.
Yeah.
You know, there will be Pondo Army cards passed out again this year. I'm just letting you know that.
I gotta laminate mine.
Yeah. All right. Well, Pondo shouted out Chloe. So, Chloe, let's hear what you got.
Okay. Yeah, outside of Skrillex, Thursday, I'm not super familiar with anyone, so I'm just going with the flow. I'm probably just going to talk to Lisa and she'll tell me what I need to be excited about. I think that's just what I'm going to fall back on. Friday, I was really excited to see Goldie Boutillier back on the lineup. She was one that was on last year, and I was really bummed to not be able to see her. She's kind of like an old school, like Southern crooner. She's a gem.
Yeah.
Love her.
Squall is in the other room working on something, but she's going to be right there with you. She
I
is
know.
so pumped for her.
Her and I were so excited for her. I think we had planned to go see her together, so I will absolutely kidnap her and make her do that again this next year. So that'll be great. I'm really excited for the Strokes. Like, Last Night is an eternal all-time banger, and the fact that I've never seen them live is actually a federal crime. So I'm really excited to see.
There's probably a warrant out for you, but I just letting you know that.
100%. I am deeply in witness protection right now. But I'm really excited to see them. And I also can't wait to witness Skyler and Michael. Be so excited for them because I feel like you will actually like transcend. It'll be great. And also so stoked for Lil Jon. I really want to run it back for our Sean Paul style dance party marathon that we had at his set a couple years ago. Definitely full of like body temperature tequila. If you know, you know. Really hoping that fulfills that brief for 2026. Underrated set for Friday for me would be Pawpaw Rod. He's like the last name on Friday. He's like super groovy. I 100% had never heard of his name, but then I saw Pawpaw and I was like, oh, like our Pawpaw? No, not at all.
Yeah.
But he's a gem. Like, you guys have to check him out. Super groove central, really fun. I think if we can make it into Bonnaroo that early on a Friday, it's worth checking out for sure. Saturday, I am 100% taken up by the Super Jam because nothing will drag me away from that. The Alchemy of Pop. I feel like these last 3 years, the Super Jams have been like pulled directly from my prefrontal cortex and just like splat out on a poster. So this is like specifically made for me. So whoever did that, I love you. And then also Trixie Mattel. Like, are you joking? That's going to be insane. So excited. Underrated for Saturday is going to be Midnight Generation. They're like this disco electro pop group from Mexico.
Yes.
They're going to be absolutely wild. Check them out. They're so fun. Oh my God. Again, if I can drag my ass to Bonnaroo that early on a Saturday, I actually need to do that. So they're 100% on my list. And then Sunday, again, Kesha. I might have a restraining order against me for her because I love her so much. She's 100% who I'm going for. And then another band, they're a little bit lower on the list, Girl Tones. They're kind of like a grungy rock duo. They're sisters. They're so fun. I think Charlotte might actually like them. I'll send her a couple songs. And then for underrated on Sunday, Audrey Hobart. I know I mentioned her when Cam and I talked on Tuesday. She's pop girly, super fun. Like pure serotonin songs. She's such a joy. And then 100 Drums. She's a DJ. I think she played a couple years ago. Yeah. Daniel, I think we were literally on our first trip down the water slide when she was playing.
Yes,
that's right.
I was just about to say, yeah, we went down a couple of times while she was playing, and she had a criminally like small crowd.
Yes.
I think she'll have a bigger one this time around.
I hope so, because she was great. But yeah, excited to see her, and if you can make it to her set, she's a joy. She's so fun.
All right, these are good picks. Some that I hadn't considered. I've got a little homework to do. All right, last but not least, Liz Lemon herself. Skyler, what do you got?
So many things. Oh my God. You go first so Nico can calm down.
Okay. All right. Yes, I do have a handful. We'll get Nico simmered down a little bit there. But all right. So Thursday, I mean, we're all going to be there. So you know where I'm going to be at. I'm very excited about Skrillex. We'll talk more about that on another episode. Skylar just left, but I can talk about her while she's gone. I am so psyched to get on the rail for the Strokes with her. Like, I've never seen the Strokes. I have loved the Strokes. This Is It was like, or is it, whatever the name
is
of that
this
album.
it?
Is this it? This is it. Is this it?
Is
Was
this
one of my
it? This
favorite-
is it.
Yeah. It was one of my favorite albums for a very long time in the 2000s. And I would recommend everyone to check out the one from 2020 or 2021. I think it was almost just as good. There were some absolute bangers on that album. I am so happy to see them live finally. Grizz is on a tear right now. He's going to be fun. Turnstile is going to be the kind of chaos that I love passionately. I can't wait to go get injured in that pit. I'm excited to see Geese since they've got so much heat on them right now. Goose is cool. I would have liked them, but Geese will do, I suppose. There is so much I want to do. I want to also come around and come like full apology on the Dare. I have listened to more of his stuff, and now I'm like, I think I'm probably going to this. It's kind of like my brand of fun, like nonsense party music. I really am looking forward to that. There's many more that I'm not even talking about right now, but I will also be in the Harmonica Open Pit at Blues Traveler. I'm really looking forward to that. Wolf Mother, loved them for a long time. Actually got to briefly hang out with them about 2 or 3 years ago, and they were just absolute peaches. So I want to go see their show again. Saturday, Brooklyn, who I'll shout out, who is the biggest advocate of Rufus, has gotten me in them. I saw them in Nashville. I realized why they are headliners. That is going to be an insane party. My former neighbors, the Alabama Shakes, should be on the same line as Rufus. I don't know why they are not. I'm so excited to finally see them.
I agree.
They're back at it. I hear a new album is on the way before too long. Rainbow Kitten Surprise, can't recommend them enough. I think this is the time that they finally actually play. Yes, Ricky knew I was talking about Rainbow Kitten. All right, thank you, Ricky. He needs out. Here we go. Also, I am looking forward to, this might be my like kind of subtle number one of the whole festival, Amel and the Sniffers. You guys know I love chaos. You know I love these bands from Australia. You know I love badass women. There's so many things about that band that has me so hyped. I want to be on the rail, and if there's a pit, I want to be in that. I'm so excited. And our buddies from Flip Turn are back. I think they arguably should be billed a little higher too. The OCs, I have gotten into them. That's another one that I'm starting to listen more to and I'm really getting into. Like I mentioned, Sunday is a little slow for me, but I do want to give a shout out. I think there's some good EDM, but it's just criminal that it won't be late night. Daily Bread from Atlanta is kind of like, we have Pretty Lights at Home, or was that way a couple of years ago, but I think like they are their own thing now. It's Southern fried Pretty Lights, and I love it for that. Japanese Breakfast, I have gotten big on her music. I'm going to let out my inner millennial at Modest Mouse, and I want to give a shout out to San Holo. It's kind of my brand of EDM that I really love. And another one that I think is something nobody is really paying that much attention to, but I think you should pay attention to this band, Spacey Jane. Charla, that's actually her nickname sometimes, Jane. You probably have heard me call her that on the podcast before. She got me into that because I think she was just looking up the name, and I'm like, whoa, I like these guys a lot. So that is a must-see for me on Sunday. All right. Skyler has Nico under control now. I think it's... Did he get his anger out?
The sausage has been wrangled. Yes.
Oh.
He's just got a lot to say.
Right, yeah.
He's a very vocal little man.
I think that's the first time I've ever actually heard him bark.
Thursday, I want to talk about Vince Staples because he is hilarious. He had a Netflix show for 2 seasons that was wonderful. He's also on a Gorillaz album. Like, I saw him at Panorama a few years ago. He put on a super live performance, like all over the place, really incredible. And such a good lyricist. Like, all of his records are incredible. Big Fish is one of my favorite hip hop records. I'm super excited to see Vince on the farm finally. I've been waiting for him for years. Friday, obviously, your girl got to see the Strokes. I have been a huge Strokes fan since roughly 2001 when Is This It came out. My dog is named after the bass player. Like, what? Who do you think I am? I've seen them several times. They played my very first festival ever, Lollapalooza 2010. It was their like first show back after a hiatus after they wrapped the First Impressions of Earth tour. And like you said, Dan, they released an incredible record in 2020. The New Abnormal is maybe their best album since Is This It? Like, I have not disliked a Strokes record. Come Down Machine was a little underappreciated, and Angles was like, it's a little poppy, and then Julian made that pop record, then he did the Voids, and like everybody's had side projects here and there, but I think The New Abnormal was a real return to form for the Strokes, and the songs on there are just really wonderful to see live. And the Strokes are a really kind of polarizing live band. Like, Julian just forgets the words to his own songs and like monologues to himself in the mic, and it's just rock and roll as motherfucker. Like, it's it's exactly what you're looking for out of a rock show, and they sound incredible. Like, the rhythm guitar is perfect. The drum is fucking tight. It's Nikolai plays the bass like he's, plucking something that's right up underneath his chin. It's fantastic. I'm really excited to see them on the farm again. And when they played in 2011, they played the Witch stage at sundown, and Jules was wearing black jeans and a black leather jacket, and it was like 5,000 fucking degrees, and I just didn't know how he lived without getting heat stroke. But it's got to be some sort of superhuman rock star quality that he has. But I'm super excited. And bands that are below the headliner on Friday, I'm really excited about Blood Orange. Dev Hynes is one of the OG just indie sleaze alchemists. He is so involved in so many people's careers. You look at people like Haim, like Caroline Polachek, like he has been a songwriter, he has been a producer for so many people, and he has informed a lot of other people on this lineup. Like when we get down to Sunday, I'm going to talk about Hemlock Springs, and she is definitely a Blood Orange disciple. So his set is going to be very artsy. It's going to be choreographed and kind of symphonic and beautiful, and I'm really excited to see him. Also on Friday, we have Wednesday, the band Wednesday. Do you know who was in the band Wednesday until very recently? MJ Lenderman, who was on the lineup last year. Yeah. Wednesday is a band out of Asheville, North Carolina. Shout out to the hometown heroes. But Carly Hartzman is a sensational songwriter. The record they released this year was so good. It is indie rock like you have always wanted it to be. It's so perfect. Underrated on Friday, Lambrini Girls. We got to see them at CBGB Fest. They are going to start the mosh pit of your dreams. They are going to demand energy of you. They are going to demand anti-establishment energy of you, and it's going to invigorate your soul. It's going to be so good. Saturday, I wrote down a whole list and I'm not even looking at it. Evan stole my love for Passion Pit. I have been a Passion Pit fan for a very long time. Michael Angelakos is a brilliant, beautiful pop songwriter. He has gone through a lot of change in his life, and you can see that reflected in his music. He puts on such a good show. His voice sounds exactly like it does on the record live. Like it's just incredible and pure and high and just pointed. That's going to be a really high energy show. I'm also really excited about Confidence Man. They put on a huge, incredible, well-renowned show at Glastonbury last year. They are, I believe they're from Brisbane in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, but they're a three-piece. Yeah. They're very, again, kind of choreographed pop. They're like if Sophie Tucker was more kind of pure pop music rather than more like housey and electronic. But they're going to put on a really incredible set. Also Trixie Mattel, I can't wait to see her. Trixie won RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 3, and she has never in her RuPaul's Drag Race career, she never once won a lip sync. So she is a very anomalous drag queen. But she has the music that she makes herself is country music. She's a guitar player, she's a songwriter, and it's really phenomenal. She's worked with Orville Peck a lot in the past, but her DJ sets are a lot more Rebecca Black coded. It's silly gay pop, and it's so much fun. And then Sunday, obviously, Kesha is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to any of us. But I also am really excited about, like I said, Hemlock Springs is going to be really fun. I told Evan earlier, I have to shout her out because she also has pink and purple hair. But she has this beautiful raspy voice. It's very symphonic pop. She's going to put on a really wonderful show. And then, who else? I also had Blonde Shell written down. Blonde Shell is a friend of my favorite podcast, Bandsplain. She writes some really wonderful folk music, folky pop. She was on the Talking Heads Stop Making Sense cover album that Hayley Williams was a part of. She did, I just pulled it up. What song did she do? She did Thank You for Sending Me an Angel. That's right. But she's going to put on a really excellent show. And then I think it's really cool that we also get Major Lazer and Big Gigantic at the same festival again. It feels like it's 2011 through Science or Magic. There's some really wonderful hidden gems on this set. This lineup. I think there's going to be a lot of like going into Bonnaroo early in the day is only going to benefit you. It's going to produce a lot of new things that you didn't know that you needed. It's going to be a lot of high energy early in the day sets. And there's really no drawbacks to this. Like, everything is going to be incredible. I think it's really cool that LSZ is doing one more show for everybody. Closey and LS Dream, they kind of wrapped up their project last year, and they were supposed to play Bonnaroo and couldn't this year. So Closey said that they found out that Bonnaroo was kind of trying to rebook things, and they were like, you know what, we owe this to ourselves and to the Bonnaroo community to make this one last really incredible blowout for everybody. So that's going to be really fucking cool. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of, there's just so much in here. Oh, Fuckers. That was the other one that I wanted to shout out.
Yeah.
Fuckers opened for Tame Impala on their tour this year. They are a band out of New York City. They are very, very along the lines of Tame Impala. So, Dan, you and Andrew are going to have a really great time at their set. I think Andrew probably saw them when they opened for Tame in New York.
Yeah,
but they are incredibly fun. Really, like, it's a shame they're not. Obviously we don't know. But if they're playing at night, their light show is going to rule.
Heck yeah! All right, Skyler. That is exactly why I wanted to wait a few days, because I feel like there was a lot to dig into.
It's going to be a good time. So that's what I'm excited about. Thank you for letting me yap.
No, by all means.
Dan, if I could, there's one that I forgot to mention, and it's my fault. That's what happens.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, there's always this running joke on like my work calls. It's like, oh, do we have any go back? So like, let's go back. Like, everybody take a quick 30 seconds to like mention any that you may have forgot.
Okay, I'm gonna do mine real quick. All I've heard about is we don't have a lot of jam on here. Well, I'm gonna tell you a jam band that you may not have listened to yet. The Stews. They are a pretty good jam band. I'm afraid they're gonna play early in the day, and they may be missed by a lot of people. But this is a band that has a really good, have crunchy guitars, really good lyrics, and they are the kind of band that you can get behind and really, I would take a deep listen on those guys. They may end up being one of your favorite jam bands if you take the time to check them out.
I certainly will.
That's who I was going to mention. That's who I was going to mention too. They were on last year's lineup, and they were one I was excited for. But my miss was Mother on Friday. I did not remember them until I looked them up, and they have a song. Oh my gosh. They're from like back in the day. And I was like listening to their songs, and they have one called Hayloft. And if you listen to it, you will 100% recognize it. And I was like, oh, that song. Like, I activated like a sleeper agent, and I knew all the words.
Right.
Yeah. So I totally forgot that band existed, and now they're like up there for me. That'll be fun.
Another good one. Anybody else? I had
Freddie Gibbs The Alchemist.
Oh,
the amount of good hip hop on this lineup is underappreciated.
It is.
Sorry, my audio is breaking up a little. I may have missed some things, but Freddie Gibbs The Alchemist is going to be really great.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I was saying it is underappreciated because I've seen a lot of comments from people saying there wasn't good hip hop, but I think they are just unfortunately wrong. The one real quick that I was going to mention that I neglected to, actually there's a couple, but well, let me just say it this way. We already talked about Weird Al. I'm going to be up there for that. I'm also going to be at Lil Jon because I am stupidly psyched for how lit it's going to be when I finally hear Get Low live with everybody. Because 869, it's going off. But the one I wanted to mention was Wet Leg. I'm shocked none of us mentioned them. We have a good friend in Nashville that is really big on them that got me to listen to more of them. And I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely going to that. I need to see what all the hype is about, and I like their music. But those are mine. I will surely have more in the months to come. Anybody else got any others?
Nothing to point out. You go.
Del Watergap. It's actually Maggie Rogers used to be in that band. It was like how she got started out. Yeah, and then they like started opening for her on the tour. So, or like one of her tours like a couple years ago. So check them out too.
All right. Chloe, you have any?
No, but I was going to say we all need to start working on our knees if we're going to be going to Lil Jon and getting low, because these are not the same knees that were dancing to Lil Jon in school gymnasiums at our dances. Very different knees these days.
You are very right. That's a good point.
If I would have been at school gymnasium during that song, I would have been arrested for being there amongst children. No, I'm okay.
No. Here's the real question. How can we make Jables go viral at Lil Jon. Because, like, we need to make him go viral the third year in a row, and I feel like that's the show that J-Bone is going to come out at.
Let's get him dressed up.
Lil Jon,
Like Lil
real
Jon.
name, Lillian Johnstable. I don't know. I'm workshopping this.
Let's let him cook. We don't need to give him ideas. He'll come up with ideas
Let's get him
that
one
are
of those
way-
like chalices.
way better than what we could think of.
All right,
J-Bone will
we're gonna-
always prevail.
Well, since we have an extra month to workshop this. Oh, hello, Hash Brown.
Hash brown.
Ricky was trying to come back in the room. He couldn't stand it. But guys, we have gone twice as long as I originally meant
Yes.
to. I feel like we got
I do want to give a quick shout out to Skyler, because while some of us are working on a restraining order, with Kesha, she's working on an EPO. This is some work here. Great job. I felt like that your list of bands tonight was really, really good. If I ever grow up, I want to be you.
Oh,
Pondo, I simply have a problem, and I'm happy to pass that problem on to you.
Fair enough.
listen, I didn't talk about Kesha much, but I'm stupidly excited for that too. Like, there is a whole genre on this lineup of bands and acts that shouldn't have a mosh pit, but I want to have a mosh pit at Rue. And I want things to get violent when she opens with TikTok. I need that badly. That will fix me. That will fix everything wrong with me.
No, no, it will not. That is not a good disclaimer to make. No, no, it will not.
Well,
Well,
guys,
we're
we
going to
have
test
gone
it.
long-
We're going
we
to
have
test that
gone long
theory.
tonight.
Okay.
We have gone very long tonight. That's why this is going to be a YouTube exclusive. I'm just going to put it up on there. We'll put it there for everybody to check out. Thank you, everyone. We went way longer than I meant to, but it doesn't feel like it when you're amongst friends. I appreciate y'all spending part of your Friday night with all of us here. You too, Hash Brown. He looks pissed.
He a sleepy boy.
Oh. Well, guys, we have 7 months to figure out what all we're going to do. I think we got a good head start tonight. I'm proud of our work here tonight. We did 6, 7.
We dug
wait,
in.
6?
Don't say that. That activates the Zoomers.
No! Thank God Lacey's not here tonight. Yeah, guys. Okay, quick story before we get out of here. This is supposedly a storytelling podcast. Me and Charla and Brooklyn were at a Mexican restaurant a couple of weeks ago. And, like, I don't remember what we were talking about. We were like, I think we were talking about driving to New Orleans. I was like, oh, it's about 6 or 7 hours. And every kid in the restaurant was like a sleeper agent that suddenly activated. Like, they all erupted. It was like from every direction. It was insane. Whatever. That's a whole other conversation. But guys, thank you so much for spending so much time with us tonight. I really appreciate your time on a Friday night. We have a long time to work on this. I think we're all going to be on the farm before you know it. These next 6 to 7 months, not 6, 7, 6 to 7 are going to go by pretty quick. I apologize to anybody that's watching this in the house with kids. Josh, that means you.
Sorry, Papa.
Papa. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll be back with a little bit of a shorter episode next week. We need to take a little bit of a break, honestly. But hey, between now and then, get out there and radiate positivity. We'll see you real soon.
Have a Rue, y'all.
Love you.
Happy